horror fam to HHN365, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. My name is Duff, and as always, I'm here with my co-hosts Jess and Jonathan. Guys, how excited are we?
I feel great. How about
Yeah.
you?
It's a great day today.
Mike is so excited he couldn't make it. So,
Yeah.
like, he's literally just celebrating instead of recording. That's how excited we are. You probably know what we're talking about. Before we get to that, though, go follow us on social media. That's Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at HHN365, or TikTok at HHN365pod. Check out our Discord where we're discussing everything HHN related. That's going to be a link in the description. And then you can check out our merch shop at HHN365.com. And if you want to leave us a voicemail, we'll play it here on the episode. Interact with it. That's 407-906-4134. And on today's show, of course, we are going to discuss the very first house announcement for Halloween Horror Nights 33, Slaughter Sinema 2, of course. But that's not all. There's a lot this week. We also have all the teasers they did. We have the new merch. We have more rumors. There's a lot going on. So, yeah, brace yourselves. But even before we get to that, we have some personal news to take care of. We had another YouTube Live, of course, discussing... Oops, I just banged the shit out of that. Discussing the Slaughter Sinema 2 announcement. Went great. We appreciate everyone who showed up. I'm personally really enjoying these YouTube Lives that we started doing. Only 2 now, but they're a lot of fun. Getting to interact the way you do is so much different than what a podcast is, and it's so nice to have them both available to us. And I really appreciate everyone who shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And then, Jonathan, you also hosted a Discord Live that seems went pretty well.
Yeah, that one went really well. Me and Alex hosted that one, and it went great. It was the day of the announcement. The great thing about Discord is that it's so easy to set up a live, and it can happen so quickly that we can do it usually on the fly as long as we're both free. So that's exactly what we did for this, and it went great. Everyone was interacting, had lots of engagement, lots of fun discussions on Slaughter Sinema and the teasers and the merch, and Discord just been a great tool for us. It builds a great community. We're able to talk with so many people and create so many funny inside jokes. It's something that's really grown over the past year, and I'm really happy and thankful for everyone who was a part of it.
Remember, link in the description. Go join it.
Yeah.
We also dropped the new merch, which you probably have seen by now. It's going to be our Oddfellow collection, if you will. Just 2 shirts. There's the standard edition print on black, and then we also have our UV reflective tie-dye. And that one is only going to be available up until May 24th. So this coming Friday, from when we release this, you'll have until the end of May 24th to order that, and it may never come back after that point. So if you want it, get on it this week.
Yeah, I also want to throw in here, we have a Slaughter Cinema shirt. If you want to check that out as well, I don't know.
No reason you'd want it or anything, but it's there. It's there, I guess.
Maybe in the future, maybe we'll do like a second shirt. I don't know.
Yep.
We'll see.
Technically the first shirt ever released for 365 too.
Yep.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And then also, we are going to be joining Fear and Beer, the Catacombs of Halloween Horror Nights, and the RIP Tour at a 100 Days Until HHN trivia event. That is going to be on May 22nd at Top Golf Orlando at 7:30 p.m. Fear and Beer is putting this on for the 2nd year in a row. Went great the first time. I'm sure it's going to be even better this time. It's a really great venue for it. A lot of people showed up. It's just fun to hang with everyone. So come on out. May 22nd, Top Golf, 7:30 p.m. All right, I think that's all for our housekeeping, and we can get into the fun stuff.
Please.
Spooky Empire. I'm going to be honest. We're not really going to say much about Spooky at all, except Slaughter Sinema 2.
Yeah.
So, of course, the way it was announced, there was an HHN panel at Spooky Empire, and it was really about how the entertainment production team takes everything from concept to reality, just all the steps along the way, very detailed. I think it was 8 members from different teams up there. So just so many different viewpoints of that process. It was a lot of fun to listen to. But of course, most importantly for what we're going to discuss here, it ended with the announcement of Slaughter Cinema 2. This is the first time they've ever announced original at a panel ever, and it's the first time we've got an original announced first, unless you count Puppet Theater in the weird way it was announced before HHN30 in at least 12, 13, 14 years. So, very
Mhm.
unique announcement for us, for sure.
Yeah.
Looked like the panel, like from the videos I saw, everyone was going crazy when it got announced. That
Oh,
must have been insane being in the room for that.
yeah, it got multiple pops. So, first, so it was kind of Ramon who took the reins of the announcement and just kind of first said, but wait, we got to announce something. People lost their minds. When it popped up that it was Slaughter Cinema 2, lost their minds. When a scare actor from Slaughter Cinema 2 came out, lost their minds. And of course, the description, everything at the end, lost their minds. So it was what was a pretty, as far as audience reactions go, there really wasn't much of that during the panel just by the nature of what it was. So
Mhm.
to watch the room just flip on its head for the last like 5 minutes was a pretty fun experience.
If you go on TikTok and watch our video, TikTok or Instagram, you recorded almost the whole thing of them explaining, all the stuff that's going to happen in this house and all the details they shared and all that. You could just hear everyone's phones just beeping because it's just
So many
everyone
notifications.
Ding ding.
exactly.
Yep.
It's funny.
Yeah, no, the atmosphere around that was very fun, and again, just the way Orlando announces things, very uncommon. So it was kind of a special thing to be there for and experience, definitely.
Hmm.
But let's get into Slaughter Cinema 2. So obviously, this is a sequel to the HHN 28 original Slaughter Cinema, which is a fan favorite, which ourselves and many others have loved the possibility of it coming back eventually. Well, it's now reality. We're here. It is coming back. And it is just a straight up sequel Slaughter Cinema 2.
I was
Who
kind of
would have thought?
surprised that's what it was called. Part of me thought it was just gonna have another subtitle or something like that. But no, it's just straight up Slaughter Cinema 2. It's not trying to do anything fancy with the title, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, I definitely expected like a tagline rather than two, for sure.
Really? I expected this. I did not expect a tagline because I knew that they were going to stand on business. And they knew that the first one was good and they were like, if we're going to do it, it's just going to be the second one. There wasn't going to be a tagline.
Hey, I'm not complaining.
I know.
It works for me. Let's get into the description that you would have seen if you were looking on Twitter or social media when HHN actually announced this. If you're dying for a B movie horror marathon, head to the Carey Drive-In. We're going back.
Yeah.
Scream through scenes from creature features, grindhouse gore, spaghetti westerns, and more. So we have four now of the genres. Because if you didn't see, one of them was announced with the scare actor. What the exact film, not even just the genre, the film will be there. So we basically have four of the eight new film genres. So I'm very curious uh, what else they're going to give us.
Yeah.
It's looking like they're kind of gonna go all over the place, and I really appreciate that. Like even with the genres we have now, it kind of looks like we're not staying in the same decade. Like I think we might be jumping around a bit, which is super fun because creature features and spaghetti westerns don't necessarily. I don't think those align with the like decades of like when they were most popular and all that stuff.
No.
Um, so I kind of really like that aspect, and I feel like because it might be going more broad in terms of the timelines of where they want to experience these types of B movie films, we can see a lot more, like a ton of different types of genres here, which is super exciting.
Yeah, and as Mike would have pointed out, is if he was here, that very common for drive-ins to just show older films. So you could set this. We could be at a drive-in in the '90s or the 2000s, right? But then all the films could be not all of them, but some of them could be from the past, some could be present. So it really fits what a drive-in is.
Absolutely. And it's a great way to frame a sequel for Slaughter Cinema.
So that scare actor that we were talking about and the film he is from is confirmed to be called Heavy Metal in Hell 3D. Oh, jeez. I was gonna say that 4 times fast, but it's actually not that hard. That was just me not knowing how to read. Um, so the character that came out was basically like this skeleton with a very vibrant blue and pink mohawk. Um, very, I'd say, more like punk aesthetics kind of going on
Hmm.
with his outfit. So um, it was cool to see a scare actor in what is it, May,
Yeah,
Hmm.
and he looked pretty fucking good, I gotta say.
I love him. I'm so excited to see him in his element because he's already so fun. And I don't know if this is what it's going to be, but if we're going from movies that aren't 3D to 3D, I don't. We talked about this on the live. I don't think we're going to have 3D glasses for one part of the maze, but I think we're going to get like
Mm-mm.
neon black light instead to give that illusion, and he's going to look so good under black
Oh
light.
yeah, yeah.
I feel like
I
the
definitely
mask
don't
has black
expect
light
3D.
paint in it. No, not at all.
And yeah, like you were saying, like I think that like this in a mixture with all the other genres is gonna make it really pop. Especially if this is the only room that is like 3D esque in terms of how it's possibly painted or looks or whatnot. And they also could just do a lot of stupid jokes in here too of like things coming at you, but they're not
Hmm.
like there's like, oh look, it's 3D, but it's a scare too. That could end work really well. I am excited for this movie in particular.
And then a little bit more info about the house that we got is they directly said that there will be callbacks to the original Slaughter Cinema. I think we all would have expected that anyways. And that this was created by senior show director Charles Gray and team. A fun note there is that Charles Gray also helped create the first Slaughter Cinema house. So who better to work on this and lead the project?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's good news. That's very good news.
yeah, that's exciting.
So before we get into, there's more like rumors about it. How do you feel about what we know so far? Just the info we got, the announcement itself.
Oh, I'm so excited. I this isn't my top like 5 houses ever, the first one, and I feel like this I okay, I might shoot myself in the foot, but I feel like this can't fail because it's such a good kind of structure for a house that no matter what you put in it, it's going to be fun. As long as it's
Hmm.
like half thought out and a little bit goofy, you don't think a little too hard. It can be successful, and what they've already given us with these 4 genres, I'm so excited.
Hmm.
I I completely agree. Like the first Slaughter Cinema is in my S tier. It's definitely in my top five as well. It's my favorite original I have experienced so far since starting in 28, and it really helped me understand in 28 that hey, originals can be pretty cool. That one was the one original that I really connected with that year because I only had one night, and so being able to see it again and is looking like they're changing the format. It's looking like we're going all over the place, which helps differentiate it from the first one for sure, while still, likely keeping that silly, goofy feel that it had. I think I'm really excited. It's going to be high on my hype list, no matter what else gets announced. To be honest, and I think it will be a great house at the end of the day. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think typically I'm a little more hesitant about something that's a sequel to what was a great house. Because it's like,
Mhm.
can they reach those heights again? And is it worth it to
Hmm.
do it again if it's not going to? This is so different because all Slaughter Cinema is, in a sense of being a sequel, is a location and a format. There's no direct story, no direct characters that you have to follow, right? So I think format wise, this is the perfect thing to make a sequel out of because it's not constrained to any specific anything except hey, it's a drive-in and it's anthologies
Mhm.
basically. That's it. That's it.
Hmm.
Otherwise, have fun, make it new, exciting, and I'm sure it'll be great.
Completely agree.
And then, Jonathan, I know that there's a little bit of insider talk about this as well.
There is. And this one's kind of funny because that is a part one and a part two. But let's talk about the part one first until we get to the part two. But basically, Insider Legacy, HHN Insider Legacy, said on the forums and on Discord and I think a couple other places, in regards to people, wondering like, hey, what could this, where could Slaughter Cinema be this year? Is it where it was before? Is it in a soundstage? Where could it be? And he basically said, a donut looks like a film reel. And if you don't understand what that means, listening at home, donut is one of the code names for one of the new sprung tents. So Legacy right here is inferring that Slaughter Cinema might be located in one of those. I forgot which one. It was like 3 or 4, but in one of those new sprung tents that are essentially like the size of a parade building.
Hmm.
But the funny part too is that the moderator of that forum where he said that basically just told him, no, that's incorrect. And nothing else came of that. There was no response. The conversation ended there. So I don't know how to take this because that was really funny watching it from an outsider perspective because like I don't know where to think about this now.
I mean, obviously, we don't know. I don't have too
Mhm.
much to add to that other than funny scenario to watch unfold for sure. The way it just the way it kind of shut it down immediately. It's like, all right, well, moving on.
Would you guys care about where, like, just taking this from a general discussion, would you guys care of where Slaughter Cinema would go? Like, would you care if it was in a soundstage, a sprung, a new sprung? Like, would you have any preference, or do you think it matters where it goes at the end of the day?
Um, I don't think I truly care. I do think if I'm looking from their perspective, it could be very easy just to put it in one of the old sprungs and literally do the same exact facade just with different touches, different aging, stuff like that, you know?
Hmm.
So then
Mm-hmm.
it's going to directly bring you back there. It's like, hey, this is a sequel. Remember? You're back. So I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if that's what's going to happen. I don't think that's what has to happen, but I could see them leaning into that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I, I don't see. I don't know because my brain says, well, if the tents are there, why not just put it in the same one and do it again, or from a different angle like we talked about. I I don't really care because either way it's going to be a good house like we've already talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
But if they did put it in the same place, it'd be fun, but I think putting it in one of these new buildings where they're taller, they're wider, whatever, that's just more opportunity for bigger, badder sets. So we win either way, I guess, is my answer.
Yeah, I
Yes, we do.
completely agree. Like the only thing I care about in terms of location is just a location that you're able to have a pre-show area that you're able to like.
Hmm.
I hope that for this house, I would assume so, like they did with the last one, they're gonna have a pre-show where they have like all the trailers for the films you're gonna see. I hope we have that, and I want a location that would allow for that. I think a lot of the soundstage spaces you can't really do that
Hmm.
because most likely those projectors are going to be used for the commercials and not anything else. So I'd say probably one of the tents, no matter which one it is. But other than that, I don't really have too much of a preference on where it goes. Besides the nostalgia of, hey, if it's where it originally was, that's nostalgia.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but the last one kind of ties the next little piece of information kind of ties into that, and it is from Insider Legacy, and it was referring to was like people were talking like, oh, I wonder if this house would have like trailers like the original house did in Slaughter Cinema, and Legacy said, well, this was an old rumor, so things could have changed. It was a very old rumor. Legacy said there was a rumor a while back that they filmed the trailer in Dueling Dragons for this house.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
not say I don't think that says like for sure that it's a Dueling Dragons like
No.
trailer. It could be like, oh, here's a fun, like dungeon type movie, or like mystic type movie, and we're just using the sets to like sort of
Hmm.
get an
Yeah.
idea
If
and
you already
stuff.
have a fucking castle built, why not use it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
All right. And as tough it is to move away from a house announcement finally coming, we have a lot to talk about. Jess, one of those things was what we thought was probably the announcement for the week until this was sprung on us on Friday. What was the main thing we thought we got that week?
Um, so we got a teaser. It was a full trailer. Are we counting this as a teaser? I don't know. It
I
was
think
like a
that's what they're
minute and a
calling
half,
it.
right?
Like,
Okay, what? Fine.
yeah.
I'll allow it if that's what the official word from Universal is. So we got the Fear Cannot Be Contained teaser for Orlando and Hollywood. And if you haven't seen this video, it is on all of HHN's social medias on YouTube. Check it out. It's even on TikTok now, I've noticed. They're posting all the announcements on there finally. So that's exciting. But it starts with a janitor in the park in Orlando, specifically for both of the parks. I just want to point
Mhm.
that out. They hear noises coming from the sewer. We then find out that under the park there seems to be a secret area with doors, one being the door that HHN has been teasing on social media for, I feel like it's months at this point. We go behind the door finally, and there's a bunch of black vines, slimy cocoon. It's gross. Like, go watch this video. I was really skeeved out the entire time. It's like a sack beating like a heart, and then it opens and releases a shockwave across the park. It blows the manhole cover off and goes through. The sky turns red. We see a creature in the water's reflection of the Universal Studios arch, and that's the end of the video. And that's all we got that day.
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't really tell us anything, but for being just a teaser that literally came before any house announcements or anything, very high production value.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I was not expecting it to be like something like this that is like a teaser of some sort, not having any house announcement tied to it, to have this high quality. I mean, we had something similar in terms of like style of like last year they did the main teaser was the sort of the podcast that was like a super long video and
Hmm.
it had
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of and stuff, but that was not as high quality as this. This was kind of insane with how much work they put into this one.
Yeah.
Which makes
And
you
like,
think, could it mean something?
yeah,
Uh,
maybe. We don't know.
maybe
It
when
could also
when I
just
see
be
Hollywood get the same trailer, I get kind of worried.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, true.
So then here's my question then. If this is where fear lives, is fear two things? Is it like half fear lives on the West Coast and half fear lives on the East Coast? Is it like a split custody arrangement? How does this really work?
I think you're supposed to pretend that like only one exists. Like you're
Oh,
either
okay.
Hollywood or you're Orlando. But if you're Orlando, who's What? What are you talking about? This is the only HHN. You fucking weirdo.
So the trip we're going on is not a thing.
No, when
Okay.
we go there, Orlando doesn't exist. Apparently, yeah.
Okay.
My heart knows
All
that's
right.
not true, but
A couple more things that came out from Twitter and whatnot about this video. The HHN Orlando Twitter account has named this creature Otis. So
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
we will be referring to him as Otis going forward, and I think every time I pass under the arches, I'm gonna say hi to Otis now. Any time of year.
What's up, Otis? How's it going?
If it rained that day, you just look in the reflection, you're like, "Hi, Otis."
Oh, he's just a little guy.
Look at all
And
them
the
little
video
teefsies.
one eye. The video ends with blurry words appearing on the screen, with some of the more visible ones being okay, back, and start. And that's the teaser.
Well, it did start the announcements. I'll say that much.
It's very true.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the intention at all. Probably not, but whatever.
Would you guys have been, now knowing how we got it announced, would you have been disappointed had it been announced at the end of this trailer, or do you like how they did it?
I mean, I like how they did it because Slaughter Cinema itself has nothing to do with this specifically. If this
Mhm.
has like any kind of tie-in, it would definitely be more theme, icon, something along those lines, right? So
Mhm.
I don't think it would have made sense to just like toss the Slaughter Cinema announcement on the end of this, or probably any house announcement for the most part. So I guess the way it worked, I'm fine with it. It was one of those things where it's like, why do they keep giving us nothing? And then they gave us a house announcement. I was like, okay, you know what? I'll forgive you for now.
Yeah.
We can
I
roll
think
with this, I guess.
I quote tweeted the video and I said, "Yes, girl, give us nothing." And people were like going off. And I was like, "What? They gave us nothing." And they're like, "You're right. But it's Otis." And I'm like, "Fuck off." It's nothing. It's an real monster character in the reverse image of the arches. It's cool, but it was nothing.
What are you talking about? Otis is obviously the icon for this year.
Oh
You know.
my god. Could you imagine?
And his name is actually just Otis. Mm.
Introducing
Open.
Otis.
How would an opening ceremony
Arch.
go for something that I assume does not speak?
Actually, that'd be great because he would be the arch.
It's
Yeah,
true.
I know. A themed arch would be lovely.
Like the arch is the one in. I mean, what if he does speak? We don't know.
I don't know.
I
He has
guess
a
we
mouth.
won't.
Yeah.
Otis better appear in their next teaser video or whatever, or however they're going to announce houses. I want to see Otis back. Very important to me.
It is very
I
important.
want Otis to announce every house moving forward as like a Sesame Street presentation. And it's him just like over the arches,
G.
just like,
G is for Ghostbusters.
who you gonna call? Otis.
Oh my
He's just a
God.
cute guy. I love him. I love Heavy
So-
Metal and
so
Hell
adorable.
Guy more though.
I mean, yes, I do as well.
So if we were to guess right now, it's because it's very early. Like, to be honest, in marketing world, like this would just be a guess at this point. Do we think this teaser actually means anything? Like, do we have like hope that it actually means something? Are we more along the lines of this is just a representative of like where horror lives, like the tagline or something like that, and not really, related to anything at the event at
Mhm.
all?
So, if you would have asked me in March, I would 100% would have said something like this is just marketing and nothing else. But you know how in the past years they've been a bit like trolly, if you will. It feels like all those comments that we have thought kind of were like trolly comments have kind of led to something actually this year. So this might be more calculated than it has been the past several years.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very true. It's possible.
Yeah.
I
I don't know what it means, but
yeah.
No, I have no fucking idea.
I'm still on the pessimistic side for now because I was really hoping last year's marketing meant something. I was like, is that someone in the static, and could it be related to anything? And I just completely got destroyed after figuring out that it didn't mean squad, it meant never go alone. So right now I'm still on that side. But if we get like another teaser that like has maybe this much work put into it again and it seems to lead to something else, then or more rumors come out or something, maybe I'll start getting on the this means something train. But right now I'm gonna protect myself and be like, nah, this doesn't mean anything.
Probably the safe way to do it, to be honest.
That's true. Should we get on to the new HHN merch that we got the same day of the announcement?
Yeah, forgot. More stuff. Yep, let's go. Let's do it.
But yeah, we essentially just got a new shirt that appeared in the Five and Dine and the All Hallows Eve boutique. It's like a I don't know how to describe it, like a punk rock type shirt with the skull and a mohawk, and sort of similar to the character we saw in they released for Slaughter Cinema 2, and it has a bunch of as Japanese characters that end up people translated it and it says Halloween. It has a bird. It has vampire fangs. It's very stylized. It's very similar to if you went to the Five and Dime and saw like that art on the window. It's almost like that art thrown on the shirt. It's an acid wash shirt. And on the website, you pointed this out, Jess, because I completely forgot about this. The shirt is called Atomic Goth Punk. And
it is
how do we feel about this?
interesting. When we got the original shirt, I said that I liked that it's the visual merchandising that they did in the window a lot more than what we actually got. And if they put it on a shirt, I'd be a lot happier. So check, I'm happy. Thank you. I don't know if that was the plan originally or if they were just listening to the general consensus in the community, but it worked. It's cute. It's UV reactive. I think it's going to look great, especially in, potentially the heavy metal and hell section of the house. I don't
Fitting.
know. I think it's interesting that they chose to call it atomic goth punk, though, because atomic goth is a subgenre of goth. I've never heard punk attached to the end of it, but I think they're just covering all their bases here.
Yeah, I think it's because the design actually isn't atomic goth, really.
Yeah.
So you got to toss like something else in there to make it work. Though the descriptions I've heard of what this is are all over the place. No one knows. Everyone's like 80s punk, 90s punk, pop grunge, heavy metal, atomic goth.
Atomic
No,
goth punk.
it's because it really doesn't have one single aesthetic. It's really blending a bunch of shit together.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I definitely think it's better than the Where Horror Lives shirts, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The design's better. It looks great on the acid wash. Is it like an immediate buy for me? No. But I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the colors. I'm really happy that merch is going in a different direction this year. Like it has been going for a couple of years now. This year in particular, it's looking like they're getting really colorful and really stylized, and I think that's really fun. I know a lot of people don't have that same opinion, which is totally fair. I just like the direction they're going with this. I don't know if I would like grab this one right away. Not yet at least. But if more merch keeps going in this direction, I think I'll be very happy because I really do like this.
It's
Mhm.
different, and that's very nice for HHN. And that's kind of the only thing that makes me want to possibly buy it now is that it is so unique and different for HHN, and people hate it. And if people hate it that much and don't buy it, they're not going to do anything like it again.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
should I buy the two that will exist like ever just to have them? I already did. I bought the orange one. I think I talked about this on the podcast. Not because I think it's a great shirt, but I was like, this is going to be one of the fucking most unique HHN shirts ever released. I am buying it just so I can have it.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
might do that with this one too, just because like we might never get anything else like this line again because people are talking so much shit, and I'm not sure it's selling well.
Mm. I haven't been to the park to see it, but you know what I was considering? The fact that remember last year how the color scheme was like black and kind of like teal and red for everything for like the main line of merch for the event? What if it is this like neon with black?
Hmm.
How would you guys feel?
I'd be
I,
into that. That sounds pretty
yeah.
fucking cool.
Same. I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
I'm so into that, and like it because they do the patches every year for the denim jackets, and I get them, but like I don't always put them on. Last year, I put those on because they were such a unique colorway. And if they do something like that again with like the little 3D signs and like the shirt and whatever with the planchette, like whatever they do this year, if they use that color story, I think that could be really unique and cool for the event.
Hmm.
For sure.
I've been watching a lot of old HHN 29 vlogs and stuff recently, and I realize, I mean, I already kind of knew this, but now that it's so fresh in my mind after watching it all again, that I missed that vibrancy. You know, that not just the aesthetic itself looked good, but that walking around the park, it wasn't just red or green or orange or black. You know, like there were
Mm-hmm.
colors and vibrancy that kind of didn't take the horror aspect away from it, but added something new and kind of fun. Like it just made the atmosphere different and unique and fun.
Mm-hmm.
So bringing something like that back, those kind of colors, I'd be fully down for it. Just kind of implementing them throughout the event, whether that's in the actual lighting, in the merchandise, on the booths, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I didn't even think about how these colors and this style like could really make the park light up. Even though it's incredibly dark during horror nights, it makes it light up when you see everyone wearing all these colorful shirts. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I like that. I like visualizing that. I think that could be really cool.
So we'll move on. But before we leave Orlando, we're going to go back to how they've been kind of interesting on Twitter, but it's been leading to things, because they're doing something right now as we speak, and we might see it again in just several hours here. It would have already happened by the time you hear it, but uh, on, I guess technically Saturday at 12:33 a.m., they tweeted 3, just the number 3. At 12:33 a.m. on Sunday, they tweeted 3, which you may just think, oh, 33, because that's kind of the shit they used to do and still do in a way. But the last time they did something similar to this, it was with a period. Then it was 2 periods. Then it was 3 periods. Then we got the ticket announcement. And just how they've been kind of utilizing their social media this year and actually having it lead up to things. Is that going to happen again right now?
I mean, like kind of like what you just said with the periods, and that actually led to something. I have reason to believe that this probably is, just based on that and based on a lot of the, like, even not just the periods but just the teases they've been doing in general, that this probably will lead to something. I don't know what, but I mean, we're getting close to the third 3. So, maybe when it hits that third 3, then something might happen. I know when we were talking about it on the YouTube live, some of us were speculating, and I was speculating that maybe they go 3, 2, 1 or something, but it doesn't look like they're going that route. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's like the third 3 something happens, or else I don't even know why they're posting 3s.
Yeah, I think if we get another one, then it's probably definitely something, because the only other thing that if they stop at 2, it was 33. And maybe they're just having fun. If you get a third one, it just doesn't make sense anymore, and it's building to something.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll find out in several hours here whether that's the case or not.
You guys will find out. I'll be asleep.
Oh, well, that's true. I will be awake.
Oh yeah, we have to stay awake for 12:33. I cannot wait for them to post the number 3 again.
Yeah, you don't think they're going to do an announcement in the middle of the night? This is not the old days.
Oh no, they won't do that.
I think just be another number.
I think it would be, if they do that, that something is coming shortly after this week. It won't happen like immediately after the 3, but like at still a normal time in the week.
Okay.
Yeah. Completely agree.
All right, well, let's move on to HHN Hollywood, where there is actually, believe it or not, some news. Still no dates, still no tickets, still no announcement, but news regardless. And that is scareactor editions are now available. So, yes, if you are interested, I believe Hollywood actually does like scareactor audition events, which is pretty different from the way Orlando does it now. Way different from the way Orlando does it now. So people are going to show up, show what they got, and see if they can get cast for HHN in Hollywood. So that's coming up. I think it's pretty soon here, right? Like, I believe on the weekends, coming up within a month or so.
I think so, yeah.
I don't have the exact dates on hand, but they're coming soon. So if you're interested, go look it up. It says they're happening very shortly.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I love HHN Hollywood. I think their scare actors are all fantastic, and they really get in your face. And they're intense. So yeah, I'm good luck to any of you guys who are auditioning for HHN Hollywood. Break a leg; it's gonna be great.
Don't break a leg. That sounds painful.
Okay, don't do that. Don't actually break a leg.
And then Jess, it looks like there's some construction as well.
I'm mad that I don't get to sing Murdy Tweets. There was nothing Murdy Tweets.
Here's the thing.
I mean, you could still sing it.
No, I'm mad. This is the first episode in a while without a Murdy Tweet.
So
well, that's not true. You weren't here last time, and out of respect, we didn't do it.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
You're welcome. We just went, okay, time for Murdy Tweets. We can't do it without Jess.
Aww. Jonathan, what were you saying?
Here's the thing about Murdy Tweets this week. Originally, I put some stuff on here because the day like after the announcement, that like he posted a bunch of random gifs that like he was making pretty obvious didn't mean anything, like comments about them. and it was basically like it almost seemed like he was referring to the announcement not meaning anything at the end of the day. But regardless, since all the gifs were kind of just him saying this means nothing, I was like, all right, I'm just not going to include it because he basically made it clear that this means nothing, and I'm not putting it on the podcast.
Gotcha. So it sounds like Meridian Marketing had a little argument.
Maybe, or he was just referring to like just the general community of like how you think this means something.
Oh.
You're wrong. You
Yeah,
think Alice in
it's true.
Wonderland,
Oh.
means anything? Nope. I just like Lewis Carroll.
I mean, I get that, but all right. Hollywood construction. The facade for the other H lot tent is now starting to be constructed, and it is huge. It covers the width of the tent, which is big. Big.
Yeah, big thanks to Kevin for getting us that picture. That was a. I mean, this is like there was nothing on that tent. Now it's finally starting to get constructed. It's important. It's super cool.
I love to see the evolution, or well, I'll call it a revolution of facades in Hollywood, because they have been taking huge steps forward to making not just good facades, but like multiple across each event. So, looking at this one, it's massive. It looks like they're still taking these additional steps to making phenomenal facades, and I can't wait to see till they fully flesh it out one day. Like every house has a good facade.
Mm-hmm.
Or it'll never happen and I'll be disappointed, but that's okay too.
Right now, though, it's looking like both of the tents on the H lot are like right now looking like they're going to get some pretty good facades. I know. Last year we had I don't know, like I wouldn't call any of them like super. I think Chucky's was impressive. Monsters Unmasked was kind of just a newspaper, which was cool, but at the end of the day, it was just a newspaper. I think this year both of the H lot tents are going to have pretty impressive facades, just based on what we're seeing right now.
Yeah. Oh my god! For once, I knew what location we were talking about before you explained it.
Yeah,
I'm learning.
Round of applause. Where's the clap track?
I don't have it. I don't have it on the soundboard right now. Damn.
All right, let's move on a bit. And Jonathan, I'll let you kick this one off because it's your favorite thing to do, and that's talk about insider news.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing to do, and also like the least favorite to research for because they talk on every single platform. It's like, oh, there's some on Blue Sky, there's some on Inside Universal, there's some on Discord. It's kind of crazy to keep track. And to be honest, I never get all of it because they're always all over the place. But this is the insider news segment, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Insider Legacy and what he has to say. Before he was just talking about Slaughter Sinema, so we kept it in that, but now here's just like sort of general things. Besides this first comment that's kind of related to Slaughter Sinema, sort of, kind of. And basically a lot of the insiders were making it very known to the community that they were thinking there was going to be an announcement this week. They're like, we think there's going to be an announcement this week, a house announcement. That's what we're expecting. And then Tuesday happened. And it was not a house announcement. It was a teaser. And they're all like, oh no, wires got crossed. Something happened. I don't know. But then we got Slaughter Sinema too. And then it's like, oh, was this what they were referring to? Was this the house announcement? Legacy kind of clarified about like what at least he was hearing. Who he was also one of the people who thought there was going to be a house announcement this week, which there was. But he said, from what I'm hearing, as of last week, no HHN announcements were planned for the day Slaughter Sinema got announced. This was very last minute. So it seems like they weren't referring to this particular one. It seems like this one was kind of a surprise to most, if like a lot of the insiders, which makes me wonder, how did this like not get on their radar? Like, do we think this was a last minute thing? Because it was kind of weird. We got a teaser for like the event and then an announcement a couple days after. Having two things in 1 week.
I mean, it's very possible, right? Like these things can change just on a dime.
Mm-hmm.
So it is very possible. It is also possible they just didn't know, right?
That's true.
Like sometimes HHN fully does conceal the info and we get fully surprised. So it could be one of those scenarios too. Yep. I really don't know. They're both very possible at the end of the day, and I'm not really going to try to guess which one of them it is.
Makes sense. Right.
Legacy also brings up and insinuates that what if we have miscalculated the interpretations of the code names, and what if some of those locations are wrong? This is kind of looking directly at Sweet Revenge, which he is saying is rumored to be in the Fast and Furious house location.
Hmm.
So that is a fun thing to think about. Is from a couple different directions. A, fans can miscalculate what these code names are. Uh, B, to be honest, like things change with HHN too, especially that early on. Is it
Hmm.
super likely that they change house locations? No, but it's definitely happened in the past. So there are multiple reasons that these could just be fully off.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when we get to the one after we talk about Sweet Revenge. That one's even more of a whoa, if that's true or not.
Sticking to Sweet Revenge, before we do get there, in response to someone that was talking about how a factory setting might not work in that location, he responded, "That's assuming the house is factory centric." Which, yeah, I mean, I, I don't think in my mind I was ever like fully committed to. Oh, yep, got to be a sweets factory. Nothing
Mhm.
else it could be. So, I mean, yeah, sure. I'm not surprised, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, like the way I'd want them to do a Sweet Revenge house is like I'd sort of like an original take on what Trick or Treat did, and literally just be like, oh, you're in a town and people are eating the candy and stuff's going wrong, and you still have those very Halloweeny vibes, the Trick or Treat vibes, while also being able to hop into locations now that you're in a house setting, and you go through the town or whatever. I think that could be a
Mhm.
cool way
Hmm.
to take it. It's very similar to the Zone, but Trick or Treat did it so well. At least I didn't see the Zone itself, but I like to see how they pull off that sort of, if they go that route, which they could not even be doing. But I like to see if they went that direction for for that type of house.
Could even take it further and go like the case files route, and in the house, you go down the street in New York in front of the facade of the tribute store, like
Ooh.
in the
Mm-hmm.
house, and then go into maybe one of the brownstones or whatever down the street instead, and see like what was going on in the
Ooh.
projections and whatnot. That would be really cool.
I'd like that. That'd be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Now moving on to what you were alluding to before, Jonathan. As you guys may remember, that Soundstage 23B has the code name S'mores. Out of all the properties that we know or expect to come to the event this year, I should say, Ghostbusters is the one that everyone automatically matched with that because, obviously. However, Legacy hinted that that's might not be where Ghostbusters is going.
That would be a
So
shocker.
again, miscalculations of what these code names really could be, and shocking, yes, but also is it? Because that might be a bit too on the nose,
I feel like I said that when we got the
right?
code names,
Yeah,
that
Mhm.
it seemed too easy.
I
And
yeah.
I don't
Like
know what it could be, but
they normally don't make it that easy to connect. They're usually a bit tougher. You have to think way
Mhm.
outside the box, and realistically, a lot of them you're just never going to connect until they tell you, and then you go, "Oh, okay, I get it."
Mhm.
But you like
Mhm.
no one was ever going to make the connection before they were told. That's usually kind of the level they're at. You could argue that this year they more purposefully wanted to play with us because they put them on the permits rather than
Mhm.
us just having to find them out through other outlets. Or
Mhm.
honestly, in recent history, we don't find them out till the event starts. Maybe like one or two pop out, but that's about it. Um, so yeah, I don't. It's not super surprising, but it kind of is in the sense that everyone was just kind of like, "Yep, that's where it is, I guess."
And I mean, that location's also just like a prime like IP location too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Soundstage right in front
definitely.
of the park. It made
Absolutely.
sense to a lot of people, but it might not be true after all.
And then Jess, he talks about some icons as well. Kind of a similar thing we discussed earlier a little bit,
So he says HHN has had icons. They've even had a super icon with Fear in 2010. Well, if current rumors are accurate, we may be seeing our first super de duper icon. Okay. Um, Without fully knowing the execution, I can't say how divisive it may be. It has the potential at the most generalized level to upend the entirety of icon lore, but it could elevate it too. I'm just not sure how. And Legacy never explicitly stated what he was referring to, but other insiders and HHN fans come to the conclusion that he's referring to Fear's master.
That's a lot to take in.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm still just stuck on Super D Duper.
I'm so mad I had to read that.
Apparently, he
Super
said he
D
wrote that.
Duper Otis.
I love him.
He literally said he wrote that on purpose because it was supposed to be sort of demeaning, like because he doesn't like this idea.
I mean, I said it on the live last night, and somebody like I think Mike Daniels was like, "Bong rip. What if Fear's boss is Fear?" Because I think I said that, and I was like, I mean, but that's what I think it is like, if what is Fear's boss? I feel like it is Fear, but then at that point, it's not like an I don't know the word, but like an anthropomorphic, whatever, like a human version of it. It's like a mindset.
Mhm.
And how do you show that in the park? Like, we as consumers, we like to see icons and like experience them face to face. We don't, I mean, I can't really give you an example, but I don't think we would do well with like the icon is a thought. He's not a thing.
Yeah, like you just hear the icon throughout the event, maybe, and there's
Mhm.
really no true physical representation. I don't know. Like, I think it would make sense if you're trying to, like, still have an icon without really executing an icon, you know? So thematically, he's there, they're
Mhm.
there, but they're not physically there. You know, 'cause at that point, it would just kind of feel like a non-icon year, but like, but they did one, but it's there.
Mhm.
I don't want that
Mhm.
though. That doesn't sound very fun. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
I don't I don't know how I like this idea just in general at all, because I think the really cool part about Oddfellow is that while he was like connected to lore and stuff, you didn't need to know it. Like you didn't need to know how he's related to Jack or how he fits into the lore at the end of the day. Like it felt like a character that you could just kind of jump into if you didn't know anything about icons and in you know and like my parents are some of those people. They don't know much about icons, but they went to the event. They're like, hey, Oddfellow was pretty cool. You know, they don't know his relation to a lot of things, but they liked him. Something like Fear's Master, it feels like you have to know Fear. Like you have to know that part of the lore. You have to understand that. And I kind of don't love that idea, especially because it seems like the route they've been going recently with Pumpkin Lord and Oddfellow is just completely new characters that have some tie, but at the end of the day, like they're not. It's you don't need to know a lot of things in the past. This character seems like you would need to actually know the lore a lot, and I don't love that.
Hmm. And then, are we jumping the gun a little bit? Like going straight to like it won't have a real physical entity of itself. That might be reading into what he's saying a little bit too much because he never directly says that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's not the case at all. And when he's saying that it's a different step and it's something he doesn't like, it could be something very different than what we're expecting out of this.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Jonathan, would you like to take us on to another insider?
Yeah, so we have two things. One of them I'm just going to brush past real quick because it's sort of what we're thinking, but maybe not. Alicia Stella, who is another insider in the HHN world and theme park community world, says that she believes that the new HHN teaser is just a framing device slash motif, just similar to how it was before. And I know we've already sort of discussed that. So moving into the more interesting one. If you guys don't know, Alicia Stella, a while back, I think we talked the last episode, was rooting for Weekend. She has been the only insider saying, I think Weekend, like, hey, I think Weekend's coming to the event at all, and be like, it might be either a scare zone or a house in Fast and Furious. That was her theory, that maybe the rumored scare zone turned into a house that would be located in the Fast and Furious. location. And this caused a lot of like arguments and fights across every single HHN platform, and it was very entertaining to watch on the discords, on the forums, and everywhere. And it seems like it got to a point where Alicia Stella came in on the forums and basically said, "I'm having fun, y'all. If I'm wrong, it's fine. I wouldn't even be pushing my theory so hard if I wasn't the only one doing so, but since I am, I think it's funny. If I'm right, the payoff to my street cred will be huge. If I'm wrong, just know I was always kidding." And she also adds a general disclaimer that this particular rumor of Weekend House and Fast and Furious isn't like something that she usually reports on, like the Comcast buying land in the UK. She doesn't have any evidence here, so it's just for funsies. And yeah, how do we feel about that?
Honestly, it feels like she's just saying this to kind of lighten the mood a bit and make it less. It was getting almost hostile against Alicia.
Yeah.
Honestly, that it really just feels like a way to be like, all right, okay, this is kind of ridiculous. So let me just say something to cool everyone down a bit, because what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Because seriously,
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck? Some of you are fucking weird. I will say that much. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why are we attacking an insider who has a good track record in general? Because you don't want to believe it or don't believe it. I don't know. Like it's just weird.
Yeah. I'm gonna not say what I'm thinking.
We know.
Mm-hmm.
I think it rhymes with Renanaji. Renanaji.
Yep, it's almost like the female insiders. Yep, again. Okay, moving on. I love Alicia. I think that she's great.
Completely agree.
I don't want to see the Weekend though, so she needs to shut up about that. Love you, girl, but
Do you have a different thought, Jonathan?
No, I'm on the same boat as you, Duff. It feels like something to just like calm everything down, because it was getting really bad to a point that like people were like HHN war, insider versus insider. She's like, this doesn't need to be like that. This is just people talking about what they think is coming to an event. Like, it's not that serious, people. We don't need to start yelling at each other.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not that serious at the end of the day.
And it was the most ridiculous or I've ever seen. So it's just Alicia's side being like, Alicia's great. This is sad that this is happening. And the other side being like, yeah, doesn't know anything. Terrible.
Yeah.
Who says she's an insider? So it wasn't really a war. It was more like an attack, to be completely honest.
Completely agree. It was not fun
A
to watch.
very unwarranted attack, by the way.
We're acting like Alicia Stella hasn't speculated on, made videos on everything that's like being announced currently for Epic Universe right now. Like,
yeah. If you have been following Alicia Stella, you basically knew what was coming to Epic a year before you knew what was coming to Epic. So, hit like 98% of things.
It's kind of insane in a great way. So yeah, thinking about that, I really have no reason to think that, obviously every insider can be wrong and stuff, but I have no reason to think that, she doesn't know anything about HA. Like, that's dumb. That's a dumb thought.
No.
I don't think she'd be saying things if she didn't have any idea, have any things she's actually hearing,
Just stop picking an insider that you want to be on their team or something. Just have fun with it. Can we just have fun with rumors and stuff instead of picking a side? You can believe one or the other. That's fine, but that's all. I don't know.
This is supposed to be fun. All of this is supposed to be fun, people.
Exactly. Just spec season. It's a fun time.
The whole point. Just to get us to the event. Shut up.
Well, with that, I think we can move on to a probably happier and brighter moment of this episode, and I believe we have a voicemail.
Yeah, we do.
All right.
Hey, y'all. It's me. Look, okay, I know I was wrong about last week, a few things. I don't pay attention to the whole icon thing that fucked me up on the popcorn and the killer clown situation. And the nun, see, what happened there was I Googled Lantern horror, because I ain't too familiar with Insidious or the Nun, and so it popped up the Nun, so I was like, hey, that's what we got. But hey, fuck it. Let's roll to this week. I love the pod. It was great. But what happened today was we got some new motherfucking merch, y'all. And it's kind of dope. We got a giant skull this time with lightning bolts coming from the eyes. We got a little bit of Japanese writing on it with a peking pumpkin coming from it. We got we got a rib cage that's being hung by a safety pin, it looks like. We got the vampire mouth dentures. I fuck with it. It's solid. And, yeah, man, the HHN dropped a new video. They got some spooky shit coming from under the arches. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's spooky as shit with teeth and all that. Shit, man. Oh, you know what I mean? And then we got a new tribute store coming with the movie thing. That sounds dope as fuck. I really would like to do that. Man, I try to make this quick because I don't want to take too much time, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to run through shit. But Alicia Stella, I'm on with her. The weekend shit, she's a goddamn genius. I know what's going to happen. She's the truth. Jonathan with the Sunday shit, smart as fuck. Love you, though. Yeah, man, that's basically all I got for y'all. But it is what it is, and I love y'all like I love y'all, and I can't wait to see y'all again and listen to the next pod. Keep it real. Love y'all.
Well, we definitely are ending on a brighter note than we were at before. That definitely happened. I'd like to point that out for sure. Thanks for calling, as always. If you would have waited like a few more hours, you would have talked about Slaughter Sinema too. Who would have thought, though? Who would have thought there would have been more? You would have never guessed.
Yeah.
You would have never guessed. So we'll hear about it next week. I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. Oh my god, he covered everything though. Like we should have just played that at the beginning.
Why do we even record?
Yeah, we would not have had an episode.
Even to the point of the Alicia Stella talk.
Yeah, literally
everything.
And we did not know he was about to cover that. So
that was
thank
amazing.
you for your voicemail. Oh, we love it all.
As always.
We love you like we love you.
It doesn't sound the same when we say it.
No.
It just doesn't. Yeah.
We don't have the same je ne sais quoi.
No, we do not, unfortunately. All right. Before we wrap up, any last thoughts about, I'll say just Slaughter Sinema 2, because that's the huge thing this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got an original first, and that means so much. I said this on the live last night, but like it feels like a fan service to like the locals and the crazy people that are talking about this year round. So I don't know. I don't care if they did that for us, but it feels a little special.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
I completely agree. Getting an original first is very cool, especially announcing it at Spooky Empire when there were just a ton of HHN fans watching the panel. It seemed like just a perfect fit. And I'm happy that it wasn't thrown a huge original dump like it, originals have been the past couple of years. That is something really exciting for me. I kind of hope they continue with that, to not just dump them all in one place. I guess this could be a special occurrence because there was Spooky, so and it's Slaughter Sinema 2, which is at a higher level like of hype compared to all the other originals, just based on it's related to Slaughter Sinema. So maybe this is like a one-off, but I don't know. I kind of hope the other originals aren't dumped, but if they are, I'm still happy that this one wasn't, and it got its own announcement.
And I'm going to hold out hope that there is still an actual announcement video for it coming, and it just hasn't been seen because they didn't do the social media full announcement like they usually would. It was just a post, and that was it. So I'm going to hold out hope that the originals get videos this year, because the Slaughter Sinema one from 28 is one of the best they've ever done. I want to see it done again. That's all.
Absolutely.
It's still not on the site, so
No, yeah. I think there's still a more proper announcement to come, but we'll see. I guess that wraps it up. Please go follow us on social media, and especially right now, I'm going to give you reasons why for some of these. Twitter, Instagram, we're going to break down all the teasers and shit, right? You get all the news, all our thoughts. YouTube, if there are more announcements coming, we're going to be doing more lives. So if they announce shit weekly, we're going to be there weekly. Or we're going to try to be there weekly. So go follow all of those at HHN365. And then TikTok at HHN365pod. We're kind of doing all the same. And we're going to try to do lives maybe. But YouTube's kind of taking up that time. But we'll see. Discord. We're discussing all this stuff. And also with announcements, we pop in, and, well, when I say we, usually Jonathan and Alex pop in. I did it once.
You did. It was great.
Like immediately that night, the next night, pop in, do a Discord live event, and that is such an interactive way to discuss all the news, the rumors, the announcements, whatever it may be that we're there for.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, merch. We just got brand new merch. Go check that out, HHN365.com. Remember, if you want the special edition Oddfellow that is a UV tie-dye, you have to order by the end of the day on Friday, May 24th. That's Eastern Time. 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Get that order in. And if you want to leave us a voicemail and also brighten our day, that's 407-906-4134. And that's it for today, and we will see you in the streets.